The unlikely alliance. The vastness of space stretched out before Captain Zara Chen as she stood on the bridge of the Earth exploration vessel Horizon. Stars twinkled in the distance, each a potential harbor for new discoveries. Zara's dark eyes, sharp with intelligence and curiosity, scanned the holographic displays surrounding her command chair. "Captain, we're picking up some unusual energy readings from the planet's surface," reported Lieutenant Aiden Foster, his fingers dancing across the sensor controls. "It's unlike anything we've encountered before." Zara leaned forward, her interest piqued. "Can you pinpoint the source?" "Affirmative," Aiden responded, bringing up a detailed map of the planet below. "It's emanating from what appears to be an ancient structure near the equator." The planet, designated XR-17, was a swirling mass of blues and greens, reminiscent of Earth but with unfamiliar continental shapes. It had been charted but never explored, sitting on the very edge of human-controlled space. "Prep the landing team," Zara ordered, rising from her chair. "I'll lead this one myself." As the crew bustled with activity, Zara couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the cusp of something monumental. Humanity had spread across a considerable portion of the galaxy in the centuries since achieving faster-than-light travel, but they had yet to encounter any advanced alien civilizations. The universe had proven to be a quieter place than science fiction had led them to believe. Hours later, Zara found herself stepping onto the surface of XR-17, the familiar weight of her exosuit grounding her as she took in the alien landscape. Lush vegetation surrounded them, plants with shapes and colors that defied Earth's biological norms. "This way, Captain," called Dr. Ilara Voss, the team's cynobiologist. She gestured towards a path that seemed unnaturally straight, cutting through the dense foliage. As they followed the path, the jungle gradually gave way to clearings, revealing glimpses of what lay ahead. Towering spires of an iridescent material that seemed to shift colors with each passing cloud pierced the sky. The structure was massive, easily dwarfing any human construction. "It's beautiful," whispered Corporal Ravi Mehta, the team's security expert, his awe evident even through the comm system. Zara nodded in agreement but kept her focus sharp. "Stay alert, everyone. We don't know what we're dealing with here." As they approached the base of the nearest spire, Zara noticed intricate patterns etched into its surface. They seemed to pulse with a faint inner light, responding to their presence. "Captain, these markings, they're not just decorative," Dr. Voss said, her voice filled with excitement. "They appear to be some form of advanced circuitry or data storage. This entire structure could be one massive computer." Before Zara could respond, a low hum filled the air. The ground beneath their feet vibrated, and the patterns on the spire began to glow more intensely. "Everyone, stay calm," Zara ordered, even as her own heart raced. "We're not leaving until we figure out what this—" Her words were cut short as a beam of light shot out from the spire, enveloping the team. Zara felt a tingling sensation throughout her body, and for a moment she feared they were being attacked. But as quickly as it had appeared, the light vanished. "Status report," Zara called out, checking her own systems. "All clear, Captain," Ravi responded, his voice steady. "No damage to our suits or equipment." Dr. Voss was already scanning the area with her instruments. "Captain, you're not going to believe this. The artifact, it's reconfiguring itself. It's as if it's adapting to our presence." True to her words, the structure before them was changing. Smooth ramps formed where there had been sheer walls, and what looked like an entrance materialized at the base of the spire. "It's inviting us in," Aiden said, his voice a mix of fear and wonder. Zara took a deep breath, weighing their options. The rational part of her mind screamed caution, but her instincts told her this was too important to walk away from. "We're going in," she decided. "Ravi, you're on point. Dr. Voss, keep scanning. Aiden, maintain an open channel with the Horizon. If anything goes wrong, I want an immediate extraction." As they entered the structure, The alien nature of their surroundings became even more apparent. The interior seemed to defy the laws of physics, with corridors that curved in impossible ways and rooms that seemed larger on the inside than they logically should be. This technology, its centuries, maybe millennia beyond our own. Dr. Voss marveled as they made their way deeper into the complex. They eventually found themselves in a vast chamber at the heart of the structure. At its center stood a pillar of swirling energy, pulsing with colors that hurt the eyes to look at directly. "Captain, I'm picking up some sort of data transmission," Aiden reported, his voice tense. It's trying to interface with our systems." Before Zara could respond, a holographic display flickered to life before them. Alien symbols danced across it, rapidly shifting and changing. "It's a language," Dr. Voss gasped. "The artifact is trying to communicate with us." As they watched in awe, the symbols began to morph, slowly taking on forms more recognizable to human eyes. Within minutes, they resolved into clear English text. "We LCOM explorers, UAV act, TIE VAHDTE and EXUS." Zara felt a chill run down her spine. "Dr. Voss, what exactly is a nexus?" Before the scientist could speculate, the hologram changed again. "The NEXUS is AUB of galactic transportation and communication. URDTAE first to HCTIVT it in 100,000 Suitelis." The implications were staggering. Zara's mind raced with the possibilities this discovery presented for humanity. But before she could fully process the information, alarms blared from their suits. "Captain," Ravi shouted, raising his weapon. "We've got incoming. Multiple unidentified craft entering the atmosphere." The hologram flickered once more. "Warning. Ne exuutus AKTIV. AAWRTED others. Prepare for Siontakti." Zara's training kicked in, pushing aside her wonder and replacing it with determination. "Everyone, back to the entrance. We need to secure our position and prepare for possible hostile contact." As they rushed back through the twisting corridors, Zora couldn't help but feel that they had stumbled upon something that would change the course of human history. The question was whether that change would be for better or worse. They emerged from the structure to find the sky filled with sleek, silver ships unlike anything in the human fleet. As the vessels descended, Zara steeled herself for what was to come. "Horizon, this is Chen," she calmed her ship. "We've made first contact with an alien artifact and have possible hostile forces incoming. Stand by for further orders." The alien ships touched down, surrounding the human team and the ancient structure. Hatches opened, and out stepped beings that were undeniably alien. Tall, slender creatures with iridescent skin and multiple pairs of arms. One of the aliens stepped forward, its eyes, if they could be called that, fixed on Zara. When it spoke, a device on its chest translated its words into perfect English. "Humans of Earth, you trespass on sacred ground. The Nexus is not for primitive species to tamper with. Surrender yourselves and withdraw from this planet immediately." Zara straightened her back, meeting the alien's gaze without flinching. "We came here in peace, as explorers. We had no idea of this structure's significance. Perhaps we can discuss this and come to an understanding." The alien's expression was unreadable, but its tone carried a hint of disdain. "There is nothing to discuss. You will leave, or you will be removed by force. The Exilarian Imperium does not negotiate with lesser races." Tensions were high, and Zara could feel her team's unease, but she also knew that backing down now could have dire consequences for humanity's future in the galaxy. "With all due respect," Zara said, her voice firm, "we activated the Nexus. It responded to us. Clearly, we're not as primitive as you think. I propose we work together to understand this technology. There's enough here to benefit both our species." The Exilarian leader seemed taken aback by her boldness. For a moment, Zara thought she saw a flicker of curiosity in its alien features. "You dare to suggest an alliance?" it asked, its tone a mixture of surprise and intrigue. Zara nodded. "That's exactly what I'm suggesting. We humans have a saying, 2 heads are better than 1. In this case, 2 species might be what's needed to unlock the full potential of the Nexus." There was a tense silence as the Accelarian considered her words. Finally, it spoke again, this time with a note of reluctant admiration. "Your audacity is intriguing, human. Perhaps there is more to your species than we initially believed. We will consider your proposal. But be warned, any sign of treachery, and we will not hesitate to eliminate you." As the Accelarian turned to confer with its companions, Zara allowed herself a small smile. It wasn't much, but it was a start. An unlikely alliance was forming, one that could shape the future of both their species and the galaxy at large. Little did they know, this was just the beginning of an adventure that would test the limits of human ingenuity, challenge the preconceptions of the Accelarians, and uncover secrets of the universe that had lain dormant for millennia. The stage was set for a cosmic drama that would determine the fate of civilizations and the very nature of galactic society. The Cosmic Labyrinth. The uneasy alliance between humans and Solarians was off to a tense start. As the 2 species cautiously approached the entrance of the Nexus, Captain Zara Chen couldn't help but feel the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. The fate of humanity's place in the galactic community hung in the balance. "Remember," Zara addressed her team, "we're here to learn and cooperate, but stay alert. We don't know what we'll find inside." The Solarian leader, who had introduced itself as High Commander Zix, shittered something to its subordinates before turning to Zara. "We will proceed together, human, but know that we are watching your every move." As they stepped into the Nexus, the structure seemed to come alive. Lights pulsed along the walls, and holographic displays flickered into existence, showing incomprehensible symbols and diagrams. Dr. Ilara Voss was immediately entranced. "Captain, these displays. They're changing as we move. It's as if the Nexus is reacting to our presence, guiding us deeper." Zara nodded, her eyes scanning their surroundings. "Any idea what it's trying to tell us, Doctor?" Before Voss could respond, one of the Accelarians, a scientist by the looks of its equipment, interrupted. "Your primitive understanding is insufficient. Allow me to decipher." The alien's words were cut short as the floor beneath them suddenly shifted, rearranging itself into a spiral staircase leading down into darkness. "Well," Zara said, a hint of amusement in her voice, "looks like the Nexus has its own ideas about where we should go. Shall we?" High Commander Zix's multiple eyes narrowed, but it nodded in agreement. "We shall. But humans, you will go first." As they descended the staircase, the air grew thick with an electric charge. The walls around them became transparent, revealing a vast, swirling cosmos of stars, nebulae, and what appeared to be wormholes connecting distant points of light. "It's beautiful," breathed Corporal Ravi Mehta, momentarily forgetting the tension of their situation. Even the Solarians seemed awed by the spectacle. For a moment, the 2 species shared a sense of wonder at the majesty of the universe laid out before them. The staircase ended in a circular chamber. At its center stood a pillar of pure energy, pulsing with colors that defied description. Surrounding it were various consoles and what appeared to be control mechanisms, their designs a blend of the organic and the technological. As they approached the central pillar, a booming voice echoed through their minds, causing both humans and Solarians to wince. "We also seek yours. To proceed, you must prove yourself is worthy. Solve the apus, overcome the challenges and taecurities of the HENEXUS shall be yours." Zara exchanged glances with High Commander Zix. "Looks like we're in for more than we bargained for," she said. Zix's mandibles clicked in what might have been agreement. Indeed, human. But do not think this changes anything. We will solve these puzzles, with or without your help. As if in response to Zix's challenge, the chamber transformed. The walls became a maze of shifting panels, each displaying complex mathematical equations, star charts, and alien languages. Dr. Voss approached one of the panels, her eyes wide with excitement. Captain, these equations, they're describing stellar phenomena we've only theorized about. If we can solve them, we might unlock new understandings of astrophysics. Meanwhile, the Xilarian scientist was examining another set of panels. High Commander, these star charts, they show regions of space unknown to even our most advanced explorations. Zara realized the opportunity before them. Look, she said, addressing both her team and the Xilarians. It's clear that neither of our species can solve all of these puzzles alone. But together, we might have a chance. What do you say we put aside our differences and work on this together? High Commander Zix seemed to consider for a moment, its alien features unreadable. Finally, it spoke. Your proposal has merit, human. Very well. We shall collaborate. For now. And so began an unprecedented cooperation between humans and Xilarians. Dr. Voss worked alongside the Xilarian scientist, their combined knowledge tackling the complex astrophysics problems. Lieutenant Aidan Foster found himself partnered with a Xilarian navigator, deciphering the star charts and plotting courses through uncharted space. Even Corporal Meta found common ground with the Xilarian security detail as they worked together to overcome physical challenges that appeared within the chamber, navigating laser grids, balancing energy fields, and manipulating gravity itself. Zara and High Commander Zix oversaw the efforts, their initial mistrust slowly giving way to a grudging respect for each other's leadership styles and problem-solving abilities. As they progressed through the challenges, the central energy pillar grew brighter and more active. Streams of data flowed through it, and occasional bursts of light shot out, altering the chamber's configuration and presenting new puzzles to solve. Hours turned into days as the two species worked tirelessly to unravel the mysteries of the Nexus. They took breaks in shifts, some resting while others continued to work. During these quieter moments, Zara found herself engaging in conversations with Zix about their respective cultures and histories. You know, Zara said during one such conversation, when we first set out to explore the stars, we always hoped we'd find other intelligent life. But I don't think anyone quite imagined it would be like this. Zix's antennae twitched in what Zara had come to recognize as amusement, and we human had long believed that we were alone in our technological superiority. It seems we both had much to learn. As they neared what they hoped was the final set of challenges, tensions began to rise again. Both species were exhausted, and the constant mental and physical strain was taking its toll. It all came to a head when a disagreement broke out over the interpretation of a particularly complex set of instructions. The Xilarian scientist insisted on one approach, while Dr. Voss argued for another. The argument quickly escalated, with both sides accusing the other of sabotage and hidden agendas. Zara watched as the fragile alliance they had built threatened to crumble. She knew she had to act fast. Enough, she shouted, her voice cutting through the chaos. All eyes, human and alien, turned to her. Look at what we've accomplished here, she continued, gesturing to the numerous solved puzzles and overcome obstacles. We've done more together in these few days than either of our species could have done alone in years. Are we really going to throw all that away now, when we're so close to the end? She turned to High Commander Zix. You called us primitive when we first met. But isn't the true mark of an advanced civilization the ability to overcome differences and work together toward a common goal? Zix was silent for a long moment, its alien eyes studying Zara intently. Finally, it spoke. Once again, human, your words carry wisdom I did not expect. You are right. We must put aside our pride and focus on the task at hand. With the conflict diffused, the two teams returned to work with renewed vigor. And it was this final push, This combination of human intuition and Silurian precision that finally cracked the last puzzle. The central energy pillar erupted in a dazzling display of light and color. The chamber around them seemed to dissolve, revealing a vast control room filled with technology beyond their wildest imaginations. As they stood in awe of their surroundings, a holographic figure appeared before them, a being of pure energy, its form constantly shifting and changing. Congratulations, Seekers, the being's voice resonated in their minds. You have PRV and your self is worthy. The Nenixus is now yours to command. Use it wisely, for HFY the power to unite Galactic or to tear them apart. Zara and Zix exchanged glances, the weight of this responsibility settling upon them both. They had unlocked the secrets of the Nexus, but their journey, it seemed, was far from over. As the holographic being faded away, alarms suddenly blared throughout the structure. Lieutenant Foster rushed to one of the control panels, his face pale with concern. "Captain," he said, his voice tight, "we're picking up multiple signatures entering the system. They're not Silurian, and they're definitely not human." High Commander Zix's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of agitation. Zora had learned. "It cannot be," the alien leader hissed. "They were not supposed to find us so quickly." Zara's hand instinctively went to her weapon. "Who, Commander? Who's found us?" Zix turned to Zara, its alien features set in what she could only interpret as grim determination. The Void Collective, human, a scourge that has plagued our galaxy for millennia. And now, thanks to the activation of the Nexus, they know exactly where to find us. As if to punctuate Zix's words, the entire structure shuddered under the impact of what could only be weapons fire. The uneasy alliance between humans and Silurians was about to face its greatest test yet. Zara squared her shoulders, meeting Zix's gaze. "Well, Commander, looks like we've got a new puzzle to solve. How about we show these Void Collective folks what happens when they mess with both our species?" For the first time since they'd met, Zix's mandibles curved in what was unmistakably a smile. "Indeed, Captain Chen. Let us show them the true power of our alliance." As they turned to face this new threat, Zora couldn't help but feel a spark of excitement amidst the danger. They had unlocked the secrets of the Nexus, forged an unlikely alliance, and now stood at the precipice of a battle that could determine the fate of the galaxy. Whatever came next, she knew one thing for certain. Humanity's adventure among the stars was only just beginning. The looming threat. The Nexus control room buzzed with frantic activity as both humans and Silurians scrambled to prepare for the impending attack. Captain Zara Chen stood at the central console, her eyes darting between the holographic displays showing the approaching Void Collective fleet and the unfamiliar controls of the ancient station. "High Commander Zix," Zara called out, "what can you tell us about these Void Collective? What are we up against?" The Silurian leader's multiple eyes blinked in rapid succession, a gesture Zara had come to associate with deep concern. The Void Collective is a confederation of species united by a singular goal: to harvest the technology and resources of other civilizations. They believe that only through aggressive expansion and assimilation can they survive the heat death of the universe. Dr. Ilara Voss, who had been working furiously to decipher the Nexus's defense systems, looked up with alarm. Heat death. They're planning for something trillions of years in the future. Indeed, Zix confirmed. Their long-term planning makes them exceptionally dangerous. They think in terms of eons, not years or even centuries. Zara's mind raced with the implications. All right, so we're dealing with an enemy that's not just technologically advanced, but also incredibly patient and strategic. Any weaknesses we can exploit. Before Zix could respond, Lieutenant Aiden Foster's voice cut through the tension. "Captain, I've managed to get a read on their fleet composition. It's unlike anything we've ever seen. Multiple ship classes, some as large as small moons. Energy readings are off the charts. Zara felt a chill run down her spine, but she forced her voice to remain steady. Understood, Lieutenant. Keep monitoring their approach. We need to know the moment they're in weapons range. High Commander Zix moved to Zora's side, its alien features set in grim determination. Captain Chen, I believe our best chance lies in utilizing the Nexus itself. If we can fully activate its systems, we might be able to create a defense grid powerful enough to repel the collective. Agreed, Zara nodded. But we barely understand how this place works. How are we supposed to activate advanced defense systems in? She glanced at the countdown timer Foster had set up. Less than 3 hours. For a moment, the control room fell silent, the weight of their seemingly impossible task settling over humans and Solarians alike. Then, unexpectedly, it was Corporal Ravi Mehta who spoke up. Captain, Commander, he said, his voice firm despite the fear evident in his eyes. I think I might have an idea. It's crazy, but, well, this whole situation is crazy, isn't it? All eyes turned to the young security officer. Zara gave him an encouraging nod. At this point, Corporal, we're open to any ideas. Let's hear it. Mehta took a deep breath. Well, we've been trying to understand the Nexus from the outside, right? But what if? What if we could interface with it directly? Like mentally? Dr. Voss's eyes widened. You mean like a neural interface? But we don't have the technology for that. And even if we did, interfacing with an alien system could be incredibly dangerous. Actually, one of the Solarian scientists interjected. We might be able to assist with that. Our species has some limited psychic abilities. We've never attempted to interface with technology this advanced, but in theory, it could work. Zara exchanged glances with Zix. The risk was enormous, but given their limited options, it might be their only chance. All right, Zara decided. Let's do it. But we do this together. One human, one Solarian. We've come this far by working together. We're not stopping now. High Commander Zix clicked its mandibles in agreement. A wise decision, Captain. I volunteer to be the Solarian half of this interface. Zara nodded, a small smile playing on her lips despite the gravity of the situation. Then I'll be the human half. Let's hope our species are as compatible in mind as they've proven to be in spirit. As the others rushed to prepare for the interface, Zara pulled Dr. Voss aside. Ilara, I need you to take command if this goes sideways. Get our people out of here if you have to. Voss gripped Zora's arm, her eyes shining with a mix of fear and admiration. It won't come to that, Captain. You'll succeed. You have to. Minutes later, Zora found herself standing before the pulsing energy pillar at the heart of the Nexus, High Commander Zix at her side. The Solarian scientists had rigged up a makeshift interface, a blend of their own technology and components salvaged from the ancient station. Are you ready, human? Zix asked, its voice uncharacteristically soft. Zara took a deep breath, steeling herself. As ready as I'll ever be. Let's save the galaxy, shall we? With a nod to Dr. Voss, they activated the interface. The world around Zora exploded into light and sensation. She felt her consciousness expanding, merging with the vast, ancient mind of the Nexus. Beside her, she could sense Zix's alien presence, their minds intertwining as they delved deeper into the station's systems. It was overwhelming. Eons of knowledge flooded through her, threatening to sweep away her sense of self. But then she felt Zix's mind anchoring her, keeping her grounded as they navigated the cosmic labyrinth of the Nexus's programming. Together, they soared through virtual star systems, unraveled the mysteries of fold space technology, and finally, found what they were looking for, the Nexus's defense protocols. With their combined will, human determination, and Solarian precision, they began to activate the ancient weapons. Across the station, long-dormant systems hummed to life. Energy shields snapped into place, weapon batteries charged, and reality itself seemed to warp around the Nexus as its full power was unleashed. Back in the physical world, the others watched in awe as Zara and Zix stood motionless, tendrils of energy coursing over their bodies. Holographic displays flared to life all around them, showing the station's transformation into a formidable fortress. "It's working," Dr. Voss exclaimed, her fingers flying over the controls as she monitored the station's power levels. "They're actually doing it." But their victory was short-lived. As Zara and Zix pushed deeper into the Nexus's systems, they encountered something unexpected, a presence that didn't belong. In the virtual realm, Zara felt a chill that had nothing to do with the station's temperature. "Commander," she called out to Zix, "are you sensing this?" The Xilarian's mental voice was tense. "Indeed, Captain. It appears we are not alone in this system." Before they could investigate further, alarms blared throughout the station. Lieutenant Foster's panicked voice cut through their concentration. "Captain, Commander, we've got a problem. Something's overriding our control of the defense systems. It's turning them against us." Zara and Zix fought to maintain their connection to the Nexus, struggling against this new malevolent presence. In the virtual space, they could see the defense protocols they had so painstakingly activated being twisted, corrupted by an alien algorithm. "It's the Void Collective," Zix realized, his mental voice filled with dread. "They must have infiltrated the Nexus's systems long before we arrived. We've walked right into their trap." Zara felt a surge of anger and determination. "No," she growled, pushing back against the invasive presence. "We didn't come this far to fail now. There has to be a way to regain control." As they battled in the virtual realm, the situation in the physical world grew dire. The Nexus's weapons, now under Void Collective control, began to target the human and Xilarian ships in orbit around the planet. Dr. Voss and the others worked frantically to counter the attack, but they were fighting against technology far beyond their understanding. "We can't hold out much longer," Voss shouted, her hands flying over the controls. "Captain, Commander, if you can hear me, we need those defenses back now." In the depths of the Nexus's systems, Zara and Zix fought with everything they had. Their minds, once separate, now worked in perfect harmony, human intuition blending seamlessly with Xilarian logic. And then, just when all seemed lost, Zara had an idea. "Commander," she called out to Zix, "the Nexus responded to us before because we worked together. What if that's the key? Not just interfacing with the system, but interfacing with each other." Zix's mental presence radiated understanding and agreement. Without hesitation, they opened their minds fully to each other, dropping all barriers. The effect was immediate and staggering. Their consciousness, human and Xilarian, merged into something entirely new. In that moment, they were neither human nor Xilarian, but a perfect synthesis of both species. With their combined strength, they surged against the Void Collective's corruption. The alien algorithm, for all its advanced nature, couldn't stand against the raw power of two species united as one. In the physical world, the others watched in awe as the station's systems suddenly stabilized. Weapons that had been targeting their ships now turned outward, forming an impenetrable defense grid around the Nexus. "They did it," Corporal Meta shouted, his voice filled with relief and excitement. "Look!" On the main view screen, they could see the Void Collective fleet, now visible at the edge of the system. But instead of pressing their attack, the massive ships hung back, clearly wary of the Nexus' reactivated defenses. As the immediate danger passed, all eyes turned to Zara and Zix. The energy tendrils surrounding them slowly faded, and both leaders sagged, clearly exhausted from their mental battle. Dr. Voss rushed to help Zara, while Xilarian medics attended to their commander. "Captain," Voss said softly, supporting Zora's weight, "are you all right? What happened in there?" Zara's eyes fluttered open, and for a moment, Voss gasped. There was something different in the captain's gaze, a depth of understanding that hadn't been there before. "We saw," Zora began, her voice hoarse. "We saw everything, Ilara. The Nexus, The Void Collective, the entire galaxy, it's all connected. And we're part of it now. Across the room, Zix was regaining consciousness as well. The Xilarian leader's eyes met Zora's, and an unspoken understanding passed between them. "My friends," Zix addressed the room, its voice carrying a new warmth, "we have won a great victory today. But our journey is far from over." Zora nodded, slowly rising to her feet. "The Void Collective is still out there, and they won't stop coming. But now we have the power of the Nexus on our side. And more importantly, we have each other." As humans and Xilarians alike cheered, Zora allowed herself a small smile. They had overcome impossible odds, forged an alliance that crossed the boundaries of species, and unlocked the power of an ancient alien artifact. The real test, she knew, was yet to come. But looking around at the determined faces of her human crew and their new Xilarian allies, Zora felt a surge of hope. Whatever the Void Collective threw at them next, they would face it together. The galaxy was about to learn just how formidable humanity could be when united with its new allies. As the celebrations continued around them, Zora and Zix stood side by side, gazing out at the stars. The Nexus hummed with power beneath their feet, a testament to what could be achieved when different species worked as one. The battle was won, but the war for the galaxy's future was just beginning. The battle for the Nexus. The relative calm following the activation of the Nexus's defenses was short-lived. Captain Zora Chen stood at the central console of the control room, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the Void Collective fleet. The massive alien ships hung at the edge of the system, a looming threat that refused to retreat. "They're regrouping," High Commander Zix observed, its multiple eyes narrowed in concentration. "Preparing for a coordinated assault, no doubt." Zora nodded, her mind racing with potential strategies. The mental link she had shared with Zix during their interface with the Nexus had left her with fragments of Xilarian tactical knowledge, blending with her human military training in unexpected ways. "We need to prepare for a multi-pronged attack," she said, turning to address the mixed crew of humans and Xilarians. "They'll try to overwhelm our defenses through sheer numbers and firepower." Lieutenant Aiden Foster, who had been analyzing the Void Collective's ship designs, spoke up. "Captain, I've identified at least 5 distinct classes of ships in their fleet. The largest appear to be carrier-type vessels, likely housing smaller attack craft." "And their weapons?" Zara asked, dreading the answer. Foster's expression was grim. "Based on the energy readings, they're unlike anything we've ever encountered. Some seem capable of warping space-time itself." A ripple of unease passed through the control room. The odds seemed increasingly insurmountable. But Zara refused to give in to despair. "All right, people, listen up. We may be outgunned, but we have 2 advantages, this station and our combined ingenuity. I need ideas, and I need them now." For a moment, silence reigned. Then, surprisingly, it was one of the younger Xilarian scientists who spoke up. What if we used the Nexus's transportation capabilities against them?" All eyes turned to the scientist, who seemed to shrink under the attention but continued bravely. "The Nexus was designed to create wormholes, right? What if we could open wormholes within their fleet, disrupting their formation?" Dr. Ilara Voss's eyes lit up with excitement. "That's brilliant. We could potentially redirect their own weapons fire back at them, or even tear their ships apart with localized space-time distortions." Zara felt a surge of pride in her crew's quick thinking. "Excellent idea. Voss, work with our Xilarian friends to make it happen. But we'll need more than just defense. We need a way to take the fight to them." Corporal Ravi Mehta, who had been quietly contemplating the holographic display of the Void Collective fleet, suddenly snapped his fingers. "Captain, what about the maintenance bots we saw earlier in the lower levels of the Nexus? Could we repurpose them as a sort of improvised fighter squadron?" High Commander Zix's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sound Zora had come to associate with excitement. "An innovative suggestion. Our engineers could quickly modify them with weaponry. They may not be a match for dedicated fighter craft, but their small size and maneuverability could prove advantageous. Do it, Zara ordered. Meta, you're in charge of our new fighter squadron. Work with the Xilarian engineers to get them combat ready. As the control room burst into action, Zara felt a tap on her shoulder. She turned to find one of the Xilarian communication specialists, its eyes blinking rapidly in what she now recognized as nervousness. Captain Chen, it began hesitantly, there's something you should know. We've detected anomalous transmissions originating from within the Nexus. It appears we may have a traitor in our midst. Zara's blood ran cold. A traitor here, now. She glanced at Zix, who had overheard the conversation. The Xilarian leader's expression was unreadable, but Zara could sense its concern. Keep this quiet for now, Zara instructed the specialist. Monitor the transmissions, see if you can pinpoint the source. We can't afford a witch hunt when we're on the brink of battle. Zix nodded in agreement. A wise decision, Captain. We must present a united front against the Void Collective. We will deal with this internal matter when the time is right. Before they could discuss further, alarms blared throughout the station. Lieutenant Foster's voice rang out, tense but controlled. Multiple contacts incoming. The Void Collective is on the move. Zara straightened, pushing aside her concerns about the potential traitor. There would be time for that later, if they survived. Battle stations, everyone. This is it. The next hours were a blur of frantic activity and heart-stopping moments. The Void Collective attacked with a ferocity it was terrifying to behold. Their massive ships unleashed barrages of energy weapons that strained the Nexus's shields to their limits. Swarms of smaller craft darted through space, probing for weaknesses in the station's defenses. But the combined human-Xilarian force proved to be more than a match for the invaders. Dr. Voss and her team worked miracles with the Nexus's wormhole technology, opening spatial rifts that swallowed entire squadrons of enemy fighters or redirected devastating energy beams back at their sources. Corporal Meta's improvised fighter squadron of repurposed maintenance bots darted between the lumbering Void Collective ships, their small size and erratic movements making them nearly impossible to target. They wreaked havoc on the enemy's external sensors and weapons systems, creating openings for the Nexus's main weapons to exploit. In the heart of the control room, Zara and Zix coordinated the defense with a synchronicity that bordered on the supernatural. Their shared experience in the Nexus's systems had left them with an almost telepathic connection, allowing them to anticipate each other's strategies and cover any weaknesses. But despite their valiant efforts, the battle began to turn against them. The Void Collective's numbers seemed endless, and for every ship they destroyed, 2 more took its place. Shield integrity down to 30%. Foster called out, his voice strained. We can't take much more of this. Zara gritted her teeth, her mind racing for a solution. They were so close to victory, she could feel it. But they needed something more, something unexpected. And then it hit her, a crazy, desperate idea, but one that just might work. Zix, she called out to her Xilarian counterpart, the Nexus. It's not just a transportation hub, is it? It's a node in a galaxy-wide network. Zix's eyes widened in understanding. You're not suggesting. Zara nodded, a fierce grin spreading across her face. Oh yes, I am. Let's light up the whole damn network. Without another word, they both rushed to the central interface. As one, they placed their hands on the control panel, their minds reaching out to connect with the Nexus's systems once more. The sensation was even more overwhelming than before. Zara felt her consciousness expanding, not just through the Nexus, but beyond, to other nodes scattered across the galaxy. She sensed Zix's presence beside her, their minds working in perfect harmony. In the physical world, the others watched in awe as the Nexus began to pulse with energy. Streams of light shot out from the station, stretching off into the depths of space. What's happening? Dr. Voss asked, her voice filled with wonder and a touch of fear. Lieutenant Foster, monitoring the long-range sensors, gasped in disbelief. It's incredible. Similar stations are activating all over the galaxy. They're all linking up, forming some kind of interdimensional web. The effect on the battle was immediate and decisive. The Void Collective ships suddenly found themselves ensnared in a galaxy-spanning net of wormholes and spatial distortions. Some were torn apart by gravitational forces, others were flung to the far reaches of the universe. In the control room, Zara and Zix collapsed to the ground, their connection to the Nexus severed. As Dr. Voss rushed to check on them, Lieutenant Foster's jubilant voice rang out. They're retreating. The Void Collective is in full retreat. A cheer went up from humans and Solarians alike. Against all odds, they had done it. They had faced down one of the greatest threats the galaxy had ever known, and they had won. As Zara slowly regained consciousness, she found herself looking into Zix's alien eyes. Despite their physiological differences, she could clearly see the same mix of exhaustion and elation that she felt. "We did it," she said softly, her voice hoarse. Zix's mandibles curved in what Zara now recognized as a smile. "Indeed we did, Captain Chen. Together." As the celebration continued around them, Zara allowed herself a moment of quiet reflection. They had achieved something truly remarkable here, not just a military victory, but a union between species that had seemed impossible mere days ago. But even as she basked in the glow of their success, a small part of her remained vigilant. The threat of the Void Collective might have been repelled for now, but what of the traitor in their midst? And what new challenges would they face as custodians of this galaxy-spanning network? One thing was certain: the adventure was far from over. But whatever the future held, Zara knew that humanity, with its newfound allies, was ready to face it head-on. As if reading her thoughts, Zix placed a multi-jointed hand on her shoulder. "The battle is won, Captain, but I sense our journey is just beginning." Zara nodded, a determined smile spreading across her face. "You're right, Commander, and I can't wait to see where it takes us next." The Nexus hummed with power beneath their feet, a testament to what could be achieved when different species worked as one. The battle for the Nexus was over, but the quest to unlock the full potential of this ancient network and to defend it from those who would misuse it was just beginning. As humans and Solarians alike turned their attention to the stars, a new era of galactic exploration and cooperation dawned. And at the heart of it all stood the unlikely alliance forged in the heat of battle, a beacon of hope for the entire universe. A new era of cooperation. The days following the battle for the Nexus were a whirlwind of activity. As the immediate threat of the Void Collective receded, Captain Zara Chen found herself facing a new set of challenges: diplomatic, scientific, and logistical. The control room of the Nexus, once a frantic command center, had transformed into an impromptu meeting hall. Representatives from both human and Solarian high commands had arrived via hastily established wormhole links, eager to see the ancient station for themselves and discuss its implications for their respective civilizations. Zara stood before the assembled dignitaries, High Commander Zix at her side. Despite her exhaustion, she felt a sense of pride as she recounted the events of the past few days. "And so," she concluded, "by working together, we not only repelled the Void Collective, but also unlocked the true potential of the Nexus network. We stand at the threshold of a new era of galactic exploration and cooperation." A murmur of excitement rippled through the audience. Admiral Koshkov, the grizzled representative of Earth's United Space Command, was the first to speak up. "Impressive work, Captain Chen, but what about the security implications? This network could be a double-edged sword if it falls into the wrong hands." Zix stepped forward, its mandibles clicking thoughtfully. "A valid concern, Admiral. But consider this: the network responded to our joint efforts. It seems the Nexus was designed to be operated by multiple species working in harmony. No single race can control it alone." Dr. Ilara Voss, who had been poring over the station's databanks, chimed in. "The commander is right. We've only scratched the surface of the Nexus's capabilities, but one thing is clear: it rewards cooperation. The more diverse the group interfacing with it, the more powerful it becomes. The implications weren't lost on anyone in the room. This discovery had the potential to reshape galactic politics, encouraging alliances and cultural exchange on an unprecedented scale. As the discussion continued, Zara found her mind wandering to the other pressing issue at hand, the suspected traitor within their ranks. She caught Zixa's eye, and a silent understanding passed between them. It was time to address the matter. Before we proceed further, Zara announced, her voice cutting through the chatter, "There's something else we need to discuss. During the battle, we detected unauthorized transmissions from within the Nexus. We have reason to believe there may be a traitor among us." The room fell silent, tension palpable in the air. Zora continued, her voice firm, but not accusatory. "We've kept this information restricted until now to avoid compromising our defense efforts. But moving forward, we need to root out this threat." To her surprise, it was Corporal Ravi Mehta who stepped forward, his face a mask of guilt and resolve. "There's no need for an investigation, Captain. It was me. I'm the one who sent those transmissions." A collective gasp echoed through the control room. Zara felt a pang of disappointment and betrayal, but she kept her expression neutral. "Explain yourself, Corporal." Mehta straightened, meeting Zora's gaze. "It's not what you think, Captain. I wasn't communicating with the Void Collective. I was sending messages to my sister." Confused murmurs filled the room. Zix's antennae twitched in puzzlement. "Your sister? How is this relevant to our situation, human?" Mehta took a deep breath. "My sister is part of a deep space exploration mission. They've been out of standard communication range for months. But I realized the Nexus might be able to reach them. So I tried to send a message through its systems." Dr. Voss's eyes widened in realization. The network. Of course, when we activated it, it must have broadcasted Meta's message across multiple nodes. That's what our sensors picked up as anomalous transmissions. Zara felt a wave of relief wash over her, followed quickly by admiration for Meta's ingenuity. "Corporal, while I understand your intentions, unauthorized use of the Nexus could have had serious consequences. In the future, please consult with Command before attempting something like this." Meta nodded, looking both chastened and hopeful. "Yes, Captain. I'm sorry for the breach of protocol. But did it work? Did my message get through?" As if in answer, one of the Xelarian communication specialists suddenly perked up. "Incoming transmission. It's being routed through multiple Nexus nodes. Origin appears to be deep space, well beyond our previous communication range." Zora couldn't help but smile. "Put it through." The holographic display flickered to life, showing the face of a young woman who bore a striking resemblance to Meta. Her eyes were wide with wonder and confusion. "Ravi? Is that you? How is this possible? We're light years beyond Earth's communication network." The control room erupted in cheers and applause. Humans and Xelarians alike were moved by this unexpected demonstration of the Nexus's power to connect across vast distances. As Meta reunited with his sister, Zara turned to address the assembled representatives. "This, right here, is what the Nexus represents. It's not just a weapon or a tool for exploration. It's a bridge between stars, between species, and between hearts separated by the vast distances of space." The mood in the room shifted, from tension and suspicion to hope and excitement. Ideas began to flow freely. Proposals for joint human-Xelarian research teams, plans for diplomatic exchanges, and strategies for exploring the further reaches of the Nexus network. As the discussions continued, Zara found a quiet moment with High Commander Zix. The Xelarian leader's eyes shimmered with an emotion Zara was learning to recognize as joy. "When my ship first detected your presence at the Nexus, I thought we would be facing primitive interlopers," Zix admitted. "I could not have imagined the outcome we now face." Zara chuckled. "Believe me, Commander, If someone had told me a week ago that I'd be standing here, planning galactic exploration with an alien ally, I'd have thought they were crazy. Zix's mandibles curved in its version of a smile. The universe, it seems, has a way of surprising us. I look forward to many more such surprises as we embark on this journey together. As if on cue, the Nexus hummed to life around them. Holographic displays sprang up, showing newly activated nodes across the galaxy. Each point of light represented a new world to explore, a new civilization to meet, a new challenge to overcome. Zara felt a thrill of excitement course through her. This was why she had joined the Earth exploration fleet, to push the boundaries of human knowledge and experience. And now, those boundaries had expanded beyond her wildest dreams. Captain Chen, Commander Zix, Lieutenant Foster called out, his voice filled with awe. You need to see this. We're receiving signals from outside our galaxy. As they rushed to the main console, Zara exchanged a glance with Zix. The adventure, it seemed, was only just beginning. In the days and weeks that followed, the Nexus became a hub of frenetic activity. Joint human-Solarian teams began the monumental task of cataloging and exploring the vast network of connected worlds. Each day brought new discoveries, from long-lost alien artifacts to thriving civilizations, eager to join the growing galactic community. The threat of the Void Collective still loomed on the horizon, a reminder that the universe held dangers as well as wonders. But with the combined strength of humanity's resourcefulness and Solarian technology, bolstered by the power of the Nexus, Zara felt confident they could face whatever challenges lay ahead. As she stood on the observation deck, watching ships from a dozen different species dock with the Nexus, Zara reflected on the incredible journey that had brought them to this point. From a chance encounter in an unexplored star system to the dawn of a new era of galactic cooperation, it had been a transformation beyond imagining. The future was uncertain, filled with both promise and peril, but one thing was clear. Humanity had found its place among the stars, not through conquest or domination, but through collaboration and mutual understanding. As they reached out to touch the cosmos, they did so not alone, but hand in hand with new allies and friends. The galactic nexus pulsed with energy, a beacon of hope and unity shining across the vast expanse of space. And at its heart stood the unlikely alliance that had made it all possible, a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity and the boundless potential of cooperation across the stars. As Zara Chen gazed out at the glittering expanse of the universe, she knew that their greatest adventures still lay ahead. The age of isolation was over. The era of galactic cooperation had begun. And humanity, with its newfound allies, was ready to lead the way into this brave new frontier.